The latest Space Engineers major gameplay update is here. This is the Core Systems update. Hello everyone, my name is Captain Jack, and this is a Space Engineers 1 gameplay update video. Yes, I am back, giving you the latest news. Let me know if I should keep doing this. We'll keep things brief. Let's learn all about this update. If you want to see more content like this and keep up to date with sci-fi gaming like Space Engineers, hit that subscribe button and tell me, honestly, what you think of this update in the comments. Overall, this is a quality of life update that introduces gameplay changes and new blocks requested by the player community. Now, as you would expect, most of the new fun blocks are locked behind a paid DLC barrier, so keep that in mind. The DLC is on sale now and you can get it on Steam. For example, there are new blocks at the landing gear type 2, which I know many of you are going to use on starships. I mean, I'm going to be using them as well. Also, we've got centered doors. Yes, more doors. You know, it's fantastic to have working doors in a game. Anyway, this is perfect for those of us who like ship interiors. I'm being serious, it's great to have more doors in the game, and I'll talk about these in a moment. We've also got fancy new lights. Okay, enough of me yapping. Let's go into the game and check this out. Hello everyone, we are here inside of Space Engineers 1. Now, we're going to start with the free content of this update. So, of course, first, we actually have this bed over here. Let's go take a look at this. Now, of course, like most Space Engineers major updates, there is free content and then paid DLC content. We'll start with the free stuff, then go over to the paid stuff a little bit later in this video. If you want to see that, you can skip ahead using the wonderful YouTube chapter system. But anyway, this is a brand new bed. So, reason we have this is in Space Engineers Apex Survivor, which was the last update, I believe, they added the ability for bed and cryo chamber blocks to pause a character's hunger. Obviously, we now have that in the game as well, so yeah, keep that in mind. Obviously, I'm in creative mode, so we don't need to worry about that, but still, this allowed players to basically safely log off or go AFK without suffering adverse effects. Now, this is, for, again, the main bed and the cryo chamber. But after watching how players interact with the system and listening to community feedback, which, you know, your guys' comments and such, Keen have decided to add a new free bed block, which is this one in front of us. So if you already own Space Engineers and you log in today or tomorrow, whenever, you will now find this in your block system and you can have a lot of fun with it. It's pretty simple. If I hop in there, you can see me sleeping in it. There we go. I do wish it kind of showed like the backpack being stored, but I guess it kind of goes into this closet sort of thing or cupboard you've got here. So I guess that's kind of answers that one. Naturally, you can store this wherever you want. I noticed it does have the indication block when it's in use, which is cool. And I'm guessing some of you will probably have some use of it in decoration bits and things like that, which would be really nice. It's large grid only and it takes up one block, so kind of perfect. A couple of changes to the inventory, production, and conveyor system, hence why I've got this conveyor sorter block in front of me. Conveyor sorter blocks now include new item categories. If we go in here, I believe it's sort of showing us down here. So we've got these sort of categories and our new filters all the way down here. So obviously, you know, when you add stuff now, you can play around with it. Obviously, naturally, you've still got your custom data, so you can do your fancy things for that if you really want to. But it does make life a bit easier for when you're sorting things. As I know, some of you have some really interesting cargo sorting setups. I personally like to use scripts, but I guess if you're on console or on a server that doesn't allow scripts, you divert to conveyor sorters, which makes a lot more sense. There's many more additional improvements in this update, including over 188 bug fixes, I believe. You can check out the full changelog. If you're lucky, I might link it down below. Let's talk about free DLC content additions as well. This is something that happens with a lot of Space Engineers updates, is when a new major update comes around, a new DLC. Previous DLCs sometimes get a content update. In this case, the Apex Survival Pack has got some additional conduit blocks. Now, I'm not sure if these are the exact ones here, as the update notes didn't actually tell me which ones they were. But it's 3 blocks, but only for large grids. It might be one of these for light. So yeah, there's a couple more of these to play with. I've not actually made use of any of these in my builds yet. I know how bad of me. But if you've been making use of them, you have some extra ones to play with. It kind of works like the neon tubes we got in the old update a while back. I can't remember what the update's called now. Sparks of the Future. I think it was called that. Let's test my memory. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong in the comments below. Okay, let's talk about the Core Systems pack. Our first big thing is these new hydrogen engines. We've got 2 variants, both large and small grid compatible. This is a big sci-fi engine here, and this is the smaller one. You can see it demonstrated over here on Venom's lovely fighter, which I painted blue, but you can see this sort of mounted here. So if I get in and sort of spin this one around, and I move my spectator camera all the way over here, I can sort of demo some of the engine effects to you. Without crashing into the block, that'd be quite embarrassing. There you go, you can sort of see the flame like that, which looks really cool actually, doesn't it? I kind of like that. So if we just hop off and fly around a sec, you can see the flame effect there, which looks really, really nice. And I've got all hydrogen thrusters mounted on this fighter here, and they look really, really nice. So if I come to a stop here, there we go, look at that. The jet of this looks really nice. Even if I go in reverse a second, it's really cool. Again, this is kind of designed to fit in that sort of Prototech advanced technology, I believe. It doesn't require Prototech stuff, I don't think. Let me just check for build things a second. But it does mean you can basically now have that sort of fit in there with the technology. Let's quickly check. Oh, well, I don't think it takes anything like that. It doesn't, which is cool. So it's just a variant. Again, it's just a skin variant, but it does look really, really cool. Kind of reminds me of the Expanse theme things with waves sort of positioned around the thruster, and I kind of really like that. So again, if it's one of those blocks you guys want to make use of, you now have access to it. Speaking of a new block, we have the Jump Drive Mark II. Now, actually, I kind of like this. We will test it in a second to see if there's any visual or sound effects changes, but one of the immediate things I like is this sort of like snugly fits in your ships and your engineering bays, because not only is it animated, so you've got things changing here, but you've got a little control dashboard. So if I turn this off, it stops spinning, which is nice. Again, it slowly slows down. So I kind of do really like this. It looks nice. The spinning animation there. I can definitely see myself using this on my ships and such. I do kind of wish the block was modular so we could extend it out. Because I guess we can't really... We add like another one. How does it look? Does it look weird if I add another one on there? Kind of does. I wish there was a way we could sort of like extend it so you could walk through bits of it. Yeah, but I guess you couldn't do that with the control bits. I'm not sure. I like the block. It looks really cool. Let's go test it on a ship in a minute and see if anything's changed. Okay, let's test out this jump drive. So, we're just going to do a blind jump. Nope, it sounds like the normal sound to me. Normal animation as well. So I don't think anything's changed. It's just a reskin of the jump drive block. Kind of a shame. I was hoping maybe like a different animation as such, but I guess it kind of takes it away from a Prototech jump drive and things like that. But, you know, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. So two of the new like blocks I'm really a big fan of, but also they do come from mods which have existed in the Space Engineers community for quite some time, is the suspended control seat. So we've got two variants. One is basically the, what is this called again? It is the, this is the control seat, and then we've got the control station. So very much like the cockpits, the seat is as it is here. You can see sort of joystick down there and like a thrust controller down there. That's how we pronounce that word. Kind of very on par given we've added joystick support with this update, and there's like a gauge down there as well. I do think the gauge does not oddly fit there realistically, but still it kind of looks really cool. Naturally, you can control your spaceship with that. If I sit in it again and take a look, whoops, there we go. It looks really nice. There you go, kind of cool. So if you are designing ships like that kind of require that seat, now you've got it. This is the control station. You can look up and we've got a screen. I was kind of hoping the screen might be a bit more down, that way you can see a bit more. But I guess you can put scripts and custom animations on here. So if that's sort of your thing, then you can do it. Obviously, we can put a digital clock there, or like an icon, gravity, targeting info, vending machine GUI, jukebox GUI, weather. There we go. It's clear. Fancy that. We're in space. So you've kind of got that to play with as well, which is really cool. Now, one of my favorite parts of this update is the center doors. These are heavy-duty passenger doors offered in full or half-size variants. They each have solid reinforced metal doors of high visibility glass panels. So we've got this one over here. This is the, I think this is just the center door. So there we go. It's just a door. Like I say, big day for those of us who like doors in video games. This one here's got a window in it. Very cool for internal stuff, I will say. So I kind of really like this. I do wish we had a different sound is my only complaint. Or if we could customize the sounds. I was thinking, gives them DLC, a sound would be nice. You know, just something I'm thinking about. We also got the half-block variant over here of just for sealed doors. And then no glass ones as well. Given an Apex, we also got more doors. Not Apex, the First Contact one, I believe we got the lab doors, wasn't it? Which update was it for those ones? Yeah, the lab doors, we got those, which is really cool. So it's kind of nice we've got more coming along. Yeah, I'm kind of a big fan of it. I like it, so I'm happy. Another new block is the Landing Gear Mark II. This one looks very cool. I can see many of you fitting on this big ships that are going to land on planetary surfaces or just hangar bays and such. It's a very industrial, rough-looking landing gear. It's not animated, unfortunately. It just operates like the normal landing gear. Yes, maybe one day in Space Engineers, we will get animated landing gears. Until then, there is a great community mod on the Steam Workshop. I've checked it out here on my channel. You should go check it out as well. It is definitely something worth exploring. Now, all the way back over here a second, this is a sci-fi hydrogen engine. It operates very much the same as the default hydrogen engine, but it is sci-fi and does have animated parts. Look at that. That's kind of cool. I really like that. I don't know what we can actually do with it. Can we access anything here? I could turn it off. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Is it on the other side as well? That's cool. And we've got a control block there. I will say, if that connects to a conveyor, can we still access that? I'm not sure. It's also got a unique sound. So if I crash next to it a sec. There you go. You can hear the sound. Opposed to this one. This is very much like engine like powered, like, you know, you can imagine fuel and oil being spat out and just, you know, horrible smells essentially. That's very much more rough. We turn that off, we've got this lovely sci-fi sounding one. It's very sort of minimalistic sound, but it's kind of cool. And back over this way again, we have round edges. These are lightweight structural blocks which can add shape and basic visual detail to any build. I know many of you like curved buildings like this, particularly if you're building a Star Trek ship that's got a lot of curves in it. These might come in very useful. So they're very much like the rounded blocks, but curvier instead. Let me know if you guys have got a use case of these. At the minute of the way I build, I'm kind of not thinking of one, but I think interior design, actually, this could be really, really cool. Typically, I use a lot of blaster blocks, or we use like the curved blocks like this in here. Even when I'm searching around, these are coming up now. Cylindrical, I use these ones with cylindrical columns. So these come up quite often in my builds to get that sort of bit of curvy nature. But now we can have these. There's plenty more variants. I'm only showing a few of them on screen, but you can take a look in game. They're very much something fun to play with. Now, my other favorite part of this update is the Tropholite, or the Tropholite. I don't know how to pronounce that quite correctly. Is it Tropher or Troffer? Who knows? Anyway, it's more light, basically. Those 3 blocks, they are large grid only, which is a bit of a shame. I was kind of hoping there might be small grid, as I know many of you do some fantastic small grid creations, and I can easily see them being used here. So maybe that will get changed in the future. But for now, these are the 3 variants. Naturally, like all lights, we can fully customize them and change. If I go over here, I do that. I can do this, and we can do that. There you go. You can see one has changed now, which is kind of cool. Again, you can use these in all your interior design builds, or even exterior design builds as well. I'm really excited to see how people put these into uses, because I really like them. Definitely for some interior lighting above as you walk down, I'm really, really excited to see how I can use these in my builds. So yeah, let me know how you're going to use them as well. Another major sort of thing with this update is they've streamlined planting and harvesting. If you're a big fan of the hunger systems that they've introduced, you can now plant faster by adding seed types directly to your toolbar, and you're selecting go. Harvesting fully grown plants has also been simplified to a single click. So if you're making use of that system, it's now a lot easier, which is really, really cool. A big thing we must talk about, and I won't be demonstrating it just today, maybe we'll do it in another video once I can hook up my joystick, is that is because Keen have added Steam joystick support to Space Engineers 1. It's a first implementation, so it kind of introduces generic hardware support. So if your like exact or HOTAS setup or flight simulator setup is incompatible, just give it some time. At this stage, button configuration and customization are not yet included. Keep those in mind. They will arrive in a future update. The new generic joystick scheme uses X, Y, RZ, slider 1 and slider 2 for movement, with buttons 7 and 8 serving as modifiers. The Keen do recommend using a joystick with 12 buttons for the best experience. Again, I will cover this in another video. Another change is more set value actions. This has expanded set value actions across more blocks, so you can dial in exact values from your toolbar. No more slider fiddling or extra timers. This makes cockpit setups easier and cleaner with automation, with event controller much easier. I'm sure many of you are going to be able to play with antennas for set name and set broadcast radius, beacons, jump drive sensors, gravity generators. If you're interested in how the set value things work, naturally you can check out a blog post. It's not something I massively do here on the channel. Mainly I like playing and blowing ships up, but if it's something you guys take advantage of, definitely go and check it out. And if you'd like to see a tutorial on it, then maybe we can do that in the near future. But it's also been improvements in projectors. This allows you to mark missing blocks and also mark unfinished blocks, which is really cool. Hinges, rotors and pistons. They've increased the structure and integrity of hinges, rotors and pistons. This is generally buffing their component requirements, and they can now take more hits before being destroyed. Quite useful if you're one of those mad, crazy people who build things with like so many pistons and hinges that eventually blows up. I know some of you out there do. Don't lie. So that is an overview of the core systems update for Space Engineers 1. We've gone for a very blue theme here today. I'm not quite sure why. I've overviewed most of the blocks and most of the major changes in this update. Again, if you want more in-depth, then comment down below and we can take a look at that. Now, you're probably wondering, what's next for Space Engineers 1? We're not talking about Space Engineers 2, mainly just Space Engineers 1. So, you're probably wondering what's next. Well, obviously, Space Engineers has done a lot of stuff this year. You know, we've had Apex Survival. That's given us a much needed survival update for Space Engineers. I've not had enough time to play with it yet, and I really want to. But according to the developers, the last major piece of the PvE puzzle is coming in the 209 update. That's economy stations and missions, which kind of sounds cool, but also I'm kind of concerned. This will basically expand the Space Engineers universe with new opportunities for exploration, trade, and progression. So we're hoping to see some more teasers of that in the coming future. Economy stations definitely need like an overhaul in Space Engineers. I think if you're playing multiplayer, you definitely want more of them as well, or particularly an overhaul in them and how they work. So that's something to keep in mind. Still, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I've kind of been impressed with how Space Engineers has gone this year, particularly the last few updates we've had towards the end of 2025. So yeah, it's kind of really exciting. Space Engineers 1 isn't dead yet. There's a lot going on. I'm kind of excited to be playing it still. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Okay everyone, that is an overview of a core systems update for Space Engineers 1. As I mentioned at the start of this video, please do let me know what you think of the update in the comments below. Personally, I think this is a little fun update for Space Engineers. It's a nice way to round out the year of what has been an impressive year for the game. Now, of course, there are a few things to be critical on, which I've been over in this update video. And I'm sure as we play it more and more, we'll find some things, which potentially could be improved, and we'll see how the developers respond to that going into 2026. Still, I'm kind of impressed with more doors and more lights. It's kind of fun, especially if you're into building really detailed starships like I am and such. So let's see how we put them to use on new builds. And hopefully you guys can show me some of your creations in my community Discord server and places like that. For now, I've been Captain Jack. If you want to support the channel, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with the latest Space Engineers news, and I'll see you next time.